may be asking yourself, what is Quo Vadis? Essentially, it means where are we going? So in terms of this IAC week-long webinar, we're here to explore where coaching is going. And this year's theme, coaching with hope through chaos, could not be a more appropriate theme. And do we ever have a fantastic week of speakers lined up to deliver through thought-provoking insights, stimulating discussion, all for you. Here's what you can look forward to today in addition to our presentation for today. Or here's what you can look forward to this week. Tomorrow, we're going to have Vicky Garcia talking about establishing a foundation of trust. On Wednesday, we're going to have a panel discussion discussing through the looking glass, reflection in the new normal. On Thursday, another panel discussion, performance coaching for leaders. And wrapping things up on Friday, Dr. Jose McLean, the IAC president, Dr. Shan Morthy, and Gonzalo de la Canal they're going to be speaking about coaching for climate change. All fantastic topics. I can't wait to jump in to introduce you to our featured presenter for today, Marco Iafredi. But before I do, we have a very special message to share with you from our president of the International Association of Coaching, Dr. Shan Morthy. Let's take a second to tune into this welcome message.
Greetings from the International Association of Coaching. Quo Vadis is a Latin phrase, meaning, where are you going? So Quo Vadis Coaching means, where is coaching going? My dear friends, 2020 has been a challenging year for all of us. In an environment that is chaotic, where uncertainty is the only certainty. To ask the question, where are we going, or where coaching is going, might not be an easy question to answer. This year's theme for Quo Vadis series of webinar is coaching with hope through chaos. How can coaching provide hope through chaos? My dear friends, the IAC defines coaching as a transformative process for personal and professional awareness, discovery, and growth. When the point of reference for change is the past, the point of reference for transformation is the future. As we seek for possibilities for the future, we create hope. Join us for a series of webinars in English, Spanish, and Chinese to learn and share with coaches from all over the world to make a difference for others and to ourselves. I would like to thank all the presenters and the IAC team who have been planning and working for a few months now to make this year's Quo Vadis Coaching webinar series purposeful and meaningful for each and every one of us during this time of chaos and uncertainty. Stay safe, stay blessed, wherever you are. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that warm welcome, Captain Shan Morthy. Dr. Morthy, as he mentioned, we have many speakers all week long in English, in Spanish, in Chinese. So make sure that you plan to join us for our presentations all week long, right until Friday, December 11th, streaming live to our IAC group site on Facebook. Mark it off on your calendar and invite someone that you care about. And on that note, if anyone in our audience has questions on today's presentation, you can put them into the chat if you're on Zoom or into Facebook on the site, and we're going to try to get to all of those questions after today's main presentation. So now let's get to the main event, which is our esteemed colleague from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Mr. Marco Iafredi. Now, before I introduce him, allow me to set the stage by telling you a little bit about Marco so that you can see why we asked him to present to our global audience this year. With over 19 years in the wellness and human development fields, Marco helps individuals and organizations create high performance and healthy environments. His experience as a professional speaker, facilitator, wellness instructor, and an IAC master coach has helped serve companies in improving culture, well-being, empowerment, and productivity. Marco has coached and trained hundreds of individuals, from single working parents to CEOs of globally traded companies. He provides engaging concepts, inspiring calls to action, and hands on experience to truly motivate change and initiative. One thing that very few people know about Marco, his interest in the martial arts, energy, and empowerment have led him to study the powerful connections between the person, energy, and environment. So Marco studied Feng Shui and became a certified practitioner. Marco, welcome to Quo Vadis, and thank you so much for agreeing to present to us here today.
Thank you, Terry. And it really is an honor, a true honor. Thank you.
It's great to see you again, Marco. Always good to reconnect with you. Tell us a little bit about the topic that you're going to be presenting here today.
Well, so timely. So let me begin in the process of sharing the screen and bringing up the PowerPoint here. When Sean had mentioned Quo Vadis, where are we going, coaching with hope through chaos, it was such a timely topic because of, as he mentioned, like, we are in difficult times right now, and rather than just be a presentation, so to speak, we're coaches, we're colleagues here, and really design this as something that, yes, sharing some information, but what am I using for myself going through the process of chaos? Because we're in the middle of the pandemic. As I shared with our chapter, Terry and I, and Ed, who's also on here, our Canada chapter members, and in the learning circle, that above and beyond COVID-19, the company I'm working with, in September, I was given notice that my contract wasn't going to be renewed. They said it was going to be the end of August, and then it'd been switched to January. And now it is a what's next, because there's the possibility of it continuing on. We have no idea with all the structuring change. So this pandemic has brought for me both positive and, wow, what's going on change. And I know for a lot of people out there, there's just the spectrum of experiences, some where not only COVID-19 global changes with respect to economies and jobs, there's positive changes, and others it's going right to the other extreme. So really want to bring into a sense of respect for the spectrum of experiences. And then it got me thinking about hope. And then in particular, and this was years back, I was doing a development course, 3-day course. And one of the gentlemen in the program, we had a great connection, and he said to me, and this phrase has stuck with me: no one ever graduated from the University of Hope. And it was really interesting because we started to actually talk about what that meant. And it was, again, in that sense of being passive, hoping, waiting, not the proactivity. And for this topic, it really got me thinking about, well, what is it about hope? And I'm familiar with hope from the sense of the character strengths within viacharacter.org. So, but looking at the history of it. And of course, when you look at hope, it comes down to one of the 3 theological virtues. So faith, love, and hope. And started doing some research or searching on the web. And of course, a lot of faith-based sites started to come up. One in particular really stood out, and not to take this into a faith, but what was really interesting was the title of the article was Hope, the Forgotten Virtue of Our Time. And I believe it was a Jesuit site. And I read a little bit into it, and I'm going, this really resonates. Set aside religion, but just the concept of hope, the forgotten virtue of our time. And what they were talking about was hope, and much like with viacharacter.org, hope having positive expectations, positive beliefs, positive focus on your action. So it is a very, very proactive approach to hope. And it said, going after things, and just paraphrasing here, going after things that are not easy to attain, but we know they are possible, and the effort in that. And in those times when we may not see that hope ourselves, there is also hope with a community around us and having the right people. So finding hope in others through connecting with others. And that really spoke to me, because right now, as we know, there are people that are going through a lot of challenges across the spectrum. And then started looking at it further. So we have, of course, the theological base, character strength approach to it, Martin Seligman. And then what about the individual that right now hope is, it just seems like it's just so out of reach? Doing a little bit more searching and came across this phrase that I thought really captured the essence of it. Hope, hold on, pain ends. And then, of course, connected with that was that connection to support from people. And that really got me thinking about hope as something that, and again, I go back to that phrase, that forgotten virtue that we can connect to, bring into our lives and our coaching practices as leaders, coaches in general, individuals. So it really was a timely topic. So today, just as an overview, and rather than just be a presentation, as I mentioned, we're going to go over a 4-step process to change, starting with release. So looking at the body and brain, mind, stress, the stress response, and strategies for that. Perspective, thinking about the growth mindset and maximizing that through connection, compassion. There's a huge connection to a growth mindset and a sense of compassion. Of course, direction. How do we guide ourselves through the process? Briefly going over the Bridges model for change, and then how I just adapted that for myself, and then harnessing character strengths for optimism. So, and we can add questions in there if questions pop up. Would love to have them in the moment. Thoughts, and just how are our colleagues using hope? How are they using it for themselves? How are they using it for their clients? And just getting those comments and questions. And we'll leave time not only within, but towards the end for that. So, stress, a physiological response to something that is a perceived or real threat to our well-being. And perceived is a key thing here. It's the meaning we give it that's very, very important. So you get a lot of physical and mental responses to that. So there can be mental health challenges, physical challenges, irritability, anxiousness, poor judgment, procrastination, to name a few, sleep disorders, cardiovascular issues, ulcers. So a lot of things can go on when we have a certain response to stress or a stressful event. And there are things that we can do to, at the foundation. So step one, in terms of rising to the challenge, moving forward with hope, one of the places to start is how we manage stress through the body. So managing through the brain, through the body, and meaning. If anybody has read by Kelly McGonigal, The Upside of Stress, just a fascinating, I'll just make mention of it in a bit, but just how we can change the meaning and change our response to stress through that. So let's start off with first tip, sleep. A colleague of mine here in Calgary, she is my go-to. She's a sleep expert when it comes to these topics of sleep. And one of the things that really stood out for me when she was talking, and across some of the research that I've come across, sleep is similar to a chronic state of stress. And that really stuck out. So if you go back to that previous slide of anxiousness, poor judgment, procrastination, physical health issues, anxiety, depression, there are so many things that can happen with respect to sleep deprivation. So one of the things that can happen is a distorted view of performance and control. We can just take it out of context and actually blow things up. And that's one of the things, overreaction to ordinary everyday events can happen through sleep deprivation. There's a whole host of other things too, but really focusing on those. And with my background in health, so for over 20 years, I've been a certified personal trainer. Even though I don't do that anymore, I stay current. I like to keep the certification up just to stay current with what's going on, and did a lot of work around healthy habit change and working with people in terms of healthy habit changes. Sleep deprivation has a big impact on the areas of the brain that control cravings. And as we were talking about the stress response. So you'll often see stress eating as one of the responses to sleep deprivation, or trying to go for more carbs. One of the interesting things with talking with other colleagues, around the time the pandemic hit, people were buying more bread makers, and there is a biological drive for that. Carbohydrates, we need them to function. They are the main source of fuel for the brain, and carbohydrates and fats are also, they give us that sense of satiation. There's something comforting in them. So when we have a sense of stress and sleep deprivation, I'm going to put in that there is this response with respect or within us for those cravings to help get a sense of comfort, not only comfort, but to reduce that sense of stress. So it's amazing what sleep deprivation can do. Now, here's the question that I posed to the group here. What is your sleep routine? And in speaking with my colleague, it is making the decision to get good sleep that actually starts the process.